Thanks for joining us. I'm Jason Zimmerman. We're learning new details tonight about what was a chaotic scene this afternoon in Ashwaubenon, which started with a car crash in the area of I-41 South and State Highway 172. According to the Brown County Sheriff's Department, an 18-year-old man died in that crash, but another 18-year-old man was also arrested after running from the scene with a rifle. The initial response came in just after 12:30. Witnesses told deputies that they saw a man running from the vehicle with a rifle who was eventually found with that rifle in a nearby ditch. When the car was searched, that's when the deceased male was found. So far, no details on how that person died or his identity have been released. The Sheriff's Department telling us, though, they don't believe the public to be in any danger.